hit the live stream early because it usually takes a little bit of time.
Then I am too.
So just to let you know that we might be live before we actually go live.
Okay.
That ever mattered before.
Yeah. I haven't had a brown ale in a while.
I like browns.
That's not bad. Bob's. Yeah. Careful it doesn't shock you. Shit, everything's been shocking me.
Did you go live on?
I'm trying to go live. It's just taking a few minutes. Oh, it looks like we might be live there. Wait, cannot connect. Okay. I think we are. Are you live?
I'm on. I'm not. I'm watching it.
Puberty sucks.
Oh, you ride on a bike for 10 hours. You'd go.
Yeah.
Oh, my junk.
It's like Brent said. Yeah, you probably won't have any grandchildren after that.
Yeah, shit, right. Yeah, not funny. Are you live?
Yep.
No, you are. Okay, I'm gonna eventually. Oh, I'm gonna record this. I should probably record the show.
That's the origin.
People say that, it's best if you record your
Probably,
podcasts to be able to share them for later use. I'm going to record something here shortly, soon. And one of these days, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to get like a total professional voice. And I was going to have somebody sitting to the left of me do it, or I should have somebody sitting to the right of me do it, because there's certain things I forget to say before every episode starts, and I want to have like a little commercial kind of a thing.
Yeah.
That says something like, "Hey there, bike nerds. The Packfiller podcast is about to begin. You can always follow the show through Instagram, Twitter, and even Facebook if you're still into that sort of thing." The show is streamed live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific on our Packfiller Productions YouTube channel, as well as the Podbean app and Packfiller.com. You can call the show directly from Podbean and chat along in the discussion on all the above platforms. And then I would probably go into the actual content of the show, which is my pre-reads. So, I'm pulling back the curtain for the listener so they all know all the magic that happens while all this kind of sort of thing happens, right? It's pretty cool, isn't it? Before we begin, I want to thank our great friends at Scratch Labs for their continued support of the Packfiller. We have loved their products, style, ideas, and full concept of providing high-quality, great-tasting fuel for the ride. Be sure and check out all they have to offer at scratchlabs.com today. We here at the Packfiller will continue to fuel all of our efforts with Scratch, not because they support the show, but simply because they taste great and get us to the finish line. That almost sounds like I'm saying goodbye. I'm not saying goodbye to Scratch Labs. I just want everybody to know that. I also want to throw out a big, gigantic thank you to Gooder Sunglasses. There are, in my personal opinion, no better price point comparison to excellent eyewear in the business. Multiple styles, great non-slip fit, polarized lenses, and great-looking glasses for outside and even inside. Wink, wink. Get to Gooder.com today. Buy up to 10 pair of glasses for the price of the dorky visors you're currently supporting. I shit you not. So let's get to this. And will Pat remember to switch to the actual cameras today? Look, Pat did that. He actually switched to the cameras today. I'm a big boy. I put the right buttons. Ladies and gentlemen, 2021 has arrived. Can you feel the change? Can you feel the change? Is there a change? If so, I hope it doesn't include the loss of taste and smell. We here at the Packfiller are changing also. No, really. Starting today, we are rolling out a steady stream, just like doping control after a really hotly contested stage, of new ways for you to, yes, you, the listener, the watcher, the cyclist, the Packfiller, to play along, get stuff, get out and challenge yourself, and oh, so much more. But first, let's meet the tour guides in our 2021 journey. My name is Pat. I'll be your captain. Please sit back and enjoy the ride. We might experience some turbulence along the way, but that is all my fault, and I'll be sure to take it personally. Moving about the cabin is Paul, your flight attendant. He will always be there should you need to top off the bubbling glass of lactic acid, and isn't afraid to tell you to shut your kid up. He does, however, hold preference for the roadies up in first class. See, I'm doing this on a flanking. Lastly, you might not see him, but Jackson Bulger, your sky marshal, is hiding somewhere amongst you, always ready to ensure you aren't as fit as you thought, and will silently help you come to the realization that you are not only old, but you should probably watch your beer intake. Of course, the usual members of the Packfiller will be appearing throughout the year. This is kind of my year introduction thing. But we need to let you adapt slowly because, we didn't want to bring, like, for example, the Diva on this early because, we got to... It's like learning to drink. You don't want to go straight to the vodka martinis, or the Everclear. You want to be able to kind of sip a cider and work your way into it.
Karsten is Everclear.
Everclear. I personally wanted to thank the members of the Packfiller, Paul, Jackson, Karsten, Jack, CP, and even Dismount Dave, and the one and only Amanda Batty for their help this year, making it our biggest growth year since the inception of the Packfiller. And I'm not fucking around and joking about that.
Thanks, people.
It's been a good year. Yeah, thanks, you guys. So, bigger and better is the plan for 21. I'm going to just say that and get that over with. Gentlemen, who the hell cares who is riding? We need to get straight to the elephant in the room, or should I say the knight in the room. See how I did that? Jackson Bulger was scheduled to attempt Sufferlandrian knighthood next weekend on January 9th.
Yep.
And, well, as we are impatient Americans who won everything yesterday, he bumped up the attempt to this past Sunday. So... First and foremost, here's a little teaser. See how I'm doing it?
I like it, yeah.
See how I'm doing it?
I must kneel.
Oh, you were bowing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not knighted.
Next
Me to sit inside for 10 hours. Anyway, let's get to the point.
Jackson, let's go through this for the... uninitiated person to the Sufferfest. Before we even get to the accolades or anything like that, because we don't know if you made it or not, right?
Yeah.
Tell us what this whole insane ideal concept was about.
Mainly it was brought to our attention by one of our listeners.
On Mariah Rook, who's been on the show twice. It is 100% her fault.
Yes, we can blame her because we got something on. I think it was Twitter asking us about it, and so you and I shot the idea around, and then we figured Paul, as his previous response had shown, wouldn't want to be the one to do it. I said, why the hell not?
She said, has any of you guys heard about Sufferlandrian knighthood?
Yeah.
And it sounds cheesy. Let's be honest. Dave McQuillan, who's been on this podcast in the years past about 4 times, really good guy, came up with this concept of the Sufferfest. Okay, there were these videos. The first one I ever found was, believe it or not, for free on iTunes, and it was footage of one of the Le Mans Paris-Roubaix, and you had a workout that went along with it, and I think he just had little type across the bottom of it that was like, okay, accelerate, okay, decelerate, things like that. And I think he probably got nagged copyright for that, got tagged and had to pull those or something like that. I once upon a time had an iPod that I kept with all of those on it, but of course I've given it away or thrown it away or something like that since.
Yeah.
And then he slowly started to develop it into this platform where the workouts were pretty darn good back then, and I think he was doing them and talking to other people and getting, actual physical coaches to do the videos. And then all of a sudden came the smart trainer revolution, where the videos not only were good workouts, but it adjusted the tension for you. You can stay in one gear the entire time. And then next thing you know, Neil Henderson is designing workouts for him. Neil Henderson, coach of some of the greatest riders in the Pro Peloton, and things like that. Rowan Dennis and things like that is designing things for him, and he came up with this. I don't know. I'd love to find out where he came up with this idea of creating a fictitious country, Sufferlandria, and it's kind of cheesy, but it's fun. You can play along with, and because of the country, he came up with Knights and Dames of Sufferlandria. So Jackson, what does it take to become a Knight of Sufferlandria?
You have to do, excuse me. You have to do 10 of their videos, only specific videos that are listed on their website, back to back, and you can have as long as a 10-minute break in between, no longer than that, but you can have a 1-minute break if you so please.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's what I did.
These videos are not sit back, cruise the countryside, go easy on Zwift. These are interval-based training, obviously, efforts. And most of them are, I think your longest one was an hour and
1 minute.
Hour and one,
Yep.
yeah. And your shortest one was like 40-something.
Yeah, it was our last one. It was 42 minutes was
Yeah.
our last one. It was
Yeah.
do as you're told.
Yeah.
But for
Designed by my wife.
Yeah.
But for the ones that don't really know kind of how the lead up went into it, there was I was looking on the website recently, right before this all happened, looking at the videos, and I saw that it takes they suggest a 6-month training plan. I took 2 weeks to really get down to it.
Camera 2.
Oh, camera 2. Do I have another one? No, I'm on the right camera.
Yeah,
I just switched them around. It's not on
Sorry,
me.
my bad.
Yeah. No, thank you. That's good.
just
Keeping me on my game, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I took 2 weeks really to get ready for it. Mind you, I've been writing in that time, so I wasn't like I didn't have no preparation. But yeah, it's a physical. It's weird because how the Sufferfest works is it bases all of these videos around the numbers you can put out.
So the biggest advertisement those guys have gotten.
I know.
They're not paying us a fucking penny. But anyway, keep going. Yeah.
But so it works around how the numbers you can put out and everything. So it is about your physical or your fitness.
Strengths. Yeah.
But it's also it's very much a mental game. Like once I reached video 5 was where it became the mental game. It was no longer, I'm out of shape, because I couldn't have been. It was off of what I could do.
Actually, not necessarily. Those workouts are set the same. Now, I think what you're saying is, so it adjusts the fact that your FTP is 300 whatever watts.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to base that part of the workout off of that average.
Yeah,
what are you saying?
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is like that you have the ability to put out what they're asking you to do.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily about can I do what they're asking. It's more of can I sit in one place for me 10 hours and 2 minutes and finish this thing. So yeah.
And you were still hitting some numbers even in your last videos in the 300 plus watts after 10 hours of doing all this. Did you have any expectations on the difficulty going in? Did you think, because you never really done, we can be blatantly honest, you joined the Sufferfest in essence 3 weeks ago?
Yeah. Around that. Mm-hmm.
And based off of this challenge.
Yeah.
And did you have any expectations going in? Like, I've heard this is going to be brutal. I've heard this is going to be easy.
Yeah.
I think it might be easy. Something like that. Yeah.
I went in relatively blind, which for a lot of people you would say is a very bad idea.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
Americans.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if I would go into like a race, like a big long endurance race, like a formerly DK. I don't know if I would do that without riding on gravel roads. I don't think I'd ever do that.
Yeah.
For this,
why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck it.
But for this, I think it is something that you possibly can do because the conditions never really change.
Mm-hmm.
So at no point did I ever have to get ready for this gigantic hill that I was going to have to go up, or like the road surface changing. That kind of adds a whole nother thing to it. So that was something that I was very happy that I was not very happy, but I was cool that I went in blind a little bit. I was worried about my physical toll, how sore I'd get, like eventually the feelings that I would have in my hands or the lack thereof. But yeah, it was much harder than it wasn't much harder than I anticipated, but it was as hard as I anticipated, which was very hard. So
first and foremost, for those of you on YouTube, hi. second of all, if you're looking at our series of videos, we streamed the entire 10 hours.
Yeah.
And were there any moments where you were like, shit?
Yeah. I think that video 5 was the point for me where it started to become much more difficult. Everything in me started to droop a little bit more. My head started to hang. That's when it became real.
Your back arched a little bit too. It was interesting watching you kind of slowly die in front of my eyes.
Exactly. Yeah.
For a father, it was a pleasurable experience.
But yeah, that's I think what it became real. And then once you reach that video number 8 is when you start to you said it to me a bunch, but when you see that light at the end of the tunnel where you can almost grab it is what it feels like. Yeah.
So I guess it goes without saying that you finished and you achieved the full meal deal. Sufferlandria Knighthood is your name, is your title.
Yeah.
And the totals were 10 hour and 1 minute, right?
10 hours and 2 minutes. I think. Yep.
And mileage was.
So you and I did the math together. It was 190.1 miles
on the trainer in one sit. And I know a lot of you haters out there are going to be going, oh, it was only the trainer, it's not real and things like that. I watched his heart rate average on the screen in front of me. I watched the watts you were putting out. Now the watts on the road and the watts on online. I can't believe I'm trying to explain away the fact of this, but I did the same thing. I did Knighthood a long time ago, and up until some more recent events, it is the hardest thing I've done on a trainer in my entire life. The hardest thing, and it is one of the top 10 hardest things I've ever done on a bike in my life. To be honest, it was that brutal.
Yeah.
And you were cranking out some high watts towards the end, man. So, definitely kudos. How have you felt since?
Yesterday, so the day after was weird. From about wake up time, which was. I've been waking up surprisingly at like 8:30.
Kids.
Yeah. So from wake up time, so 8:30 till about 2:30, I had a lot of energy. I was doing a bunch of things, running a bunch of errands, and then I settled in and I sat down for a little bit and I watched TV for a little bit at 2:30, and after that, it all kind of hit me at once. I got really tired. I got a really bad headache, which was weird. Like my eyes hurt. And then it all just kind of hit.
You didn't lose any smell or taste?
No.
We're good there.
That's right. Yeah. Breathing's difficult.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. I have like also a tendency to.
COVID jokes. We're making. Is it okay to make COVID jokes?
It's a year now.
It's a year old.
Yeah.
We're past the morning stage.
Exactly.
Oh God. Yeah. But anyway, keep going.
I have a tendency to when I go upstairs, I skip a step. And when I would do that, when I would go upstairs, that would be the most fatiguing thing. That you can feel it all there. Surprisingly, my upper body was not very sore, which was the thing I was expecting to be one of the most sore, besides my legs. Yeah.
Would you have done anything differently?
I don't know if I would. I think I was trying to figure that out if I would have changed anything yesterday or the other day, but I don't think I would have. I think
not even your sequence of videos. Would you put like longer ones at first, so you'd have shorter ones towards the end,
or the interval styles and things like
exactly.
That. Yeah.
Well, I was trying to focus on having the shorter intervals be near the end, just so my mind didn't have to wrap around doing 8 minutes, which I
there was a 20-minute interval you did on Angels, which is a long.
Yeah, there was one of them. And that felt long, but to be honest, I think at any point, if there was a 2-second interval and that was the entire video, I think no matter what, any video that I would have picked would have been terrible at that time.
Yeah.
So if I picked the longest one I had was called The Hunted, which is a very was a pretty original
old
one.
school, really old
like
school.
Lance in Radio Shack kit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the footage that they show.
And it like that one was an hour and 1 minute. Yeah.
Lance, who's this person?
Yeah.
It's not in any history books.
No.
But yeah, I don't think I would have changed my stuff. My nutrition plan I thought went fairly well. At no point did I ever feel depleted of stuff like that. So
you drank probably 8 or 9 bottles.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that's
1
hour bottle. That's not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe under. Some people would say indoors.
Some would say under. Yeah, yeah. But
might be why you were fatigued and headache the next day.
Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
which I expected.
Is there a future in endurance racing for Sir James Jackson Bulger?
Yeah, I'd be up for it. I'm at that age, luckily, where I can say yeah to anything, and physically, I don't have to be too worried about it. So,
God, what a prick!
Yeah.
I know.
Rub it in.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'd be up for something new.
Should we officially call you either Nightwing or Sir Jackson when I introduce you? And when I say Nightwing, I've respelled it. K-N-I-G. Kniggetwing.
I like Nightwing more than Sir Jackson because that feels formal and a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's like walking into a room and telling everybody, "Hi, call me doctor."
Yeah.
That's weird.
Or like Gordon Sumner walking into a room and going, "I'd like you all to call me Sting from now on."
Yep.
It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Go away, Gordo.
Stuck.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And my last question about all this, before we congratulate Jackson officially on this, is, Paul, would you ever consider something of this magnitude?
I would for the sake of the show. I would.
Really?
But I don't know. I don't know if I could just endure that. I probably end up. You would have to have any guns in a block radius. Make sure it's hidden. I might see red.
Yeah.
Somebody, hey, pick up your pace.
Yeah.
So.
And for those of you guys out there who are curious about this, and I can't believe this is turning into a 20-minute advertisement for these guys, but I've been a fan of them forever. And I'm sure I read some posts from some of you guys who think it's cheesy, it's dorky, something like that. You know what? You're a guy or a girl who walks around in full-body Lycra, and you spend way too much money on stuff, and you're sitting listening to 3 morons talk for over an hour about a sport. Guess what? You're a nerd too. And sure, there are some folks involved in Sufferfest that are a little too nerdy and over the top, and they use some of the lingo and stuff like that.
But so do Zwifters, so do roadies. Yeah, so do mountain bike people.
Yeah,
so.
and in all honesty, I found they have full training programs, all designed by some really established coaches, and the workouts themselves are pretty darn brutal. In fact, I started mine yesterday. I'm doing a 12-week workout based on a fitness test. I did that goddamn fitness test, the 4DP fitness test that the Sufferfest offers up. I did that on Saturday, and it hurt like hell. And it told me I was a time trialist, so it's obviously really fucked up. But I was always a sprinter with them, but now I'm a time trialist. So, but it gives me something to shoot for, and I'm, hey, cool. Whatever gets you going, whatever keeps you on the bike, man.
Here's what I thought was interesting because I'd never really only heard about Sufferfest, but not when I came to visit on my actual bike ride on that beautiful 40-degree day.
Oh, God, it was gorgeous. Yeah, it was a beautiful day.
That was more interesting to stare at the TV for me on a trainer, that format.
Yeah.
As I mentioned before, Zwift, it's like I don't even look at the screen hardly at all because it's like watching a cartoon.
Yeah.
And that's just me. That doesn't, the avatar, that other dimension doesn't work. But I grew up watching cycling videos on my rollers and doing intervals between like cobble sections or on the cobble sections, that type of stuff. So
this is right up your alley.
So that appeals to me, and I probably will. I will drop Zwift, and I'll look into doing Summerfest just for. for that type of training.
Yeah, and for those out there who are stuck in your house and you're sick at not being able to train for something, this is something to train for. Either 2 weeks or 6 weeks, depending upon your insanity level.
Or 6 months.
Yeah,
they suggest.
6 months. Is that 6?
They suggest.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit, I trained for mine for about same as you. I was like, fuck it, let's do it. What's the worst that could happen? Oh, yeah, I could drop dead. So congratulations, dude. Seriously,
Thank you.
That was a brutal challenge. For those of you who want to watch that video, if you watch the entire 10 hours, congratulations. You officially need a life. But if you want to zip through them, we put captions at the bottom of what video you're on. You can kind of slowly watch your decline.
Yeah.
And then the final stages in terms of how it went. It's good. It's a good watch. And I can't believe how many people were watching live when we were doing it.
I know. Yeah, it was quite.
I checked in every hour to see where he's at.
Yeah,
we didn't have a couple of potty breaks.
Yeah, we didn't have any concurrent, 10-hour listeners, who's trained in radio. We didn't have any concurrent 10-hour viewers, but we did have quite a few people watching it. So it was cool. It was really cool. So give it a shot, you guys. Moving on. Next, before we get to the topic of the show, I want to make the first of many announcements that are coming. The Packfiller is growing, and this is something that I primarily have been playing around with and trying to see how we can grow all this together and stuff like that. And I'm not going to call it this, but it's kind of a patron program that we're going to be growing here. And before you say screw this, the guys are just asking for money, hold the phone here, okay? So don't freak out, okay? Beginning next month, we're going to be unveiling a club, a team, a rewards kind of a program that will entice everyone to straddle the top tube, and that's what this is all about. Here's my spiel. I'm gonna have to throw the numbers out there, because to do this it costs us money and things like that. So for a monthly membership ranging from $1 up to $10, you can now become a member of the Packfiller. Benefits are going to include, and I'm not just listing some of them, custom swag with hats, shirts, cups, clothing, stickers, and all kinds of stuff sent right to your door. Discounts from some of our current and new upcoming sponsors of the podcast. We're talking bikes, beer, gear, all kinds of stuff like that. Exclusive content to some shows we're going to be posting here, and access to not only to the shows themselves, but access to the actual people who we interview throughout the show, so you can actually be involved in those directly. And one of the more big ones, dude, I didn't mean to say dude, but is free entry to our series of events for the upcoming year, including virtual, DIY, and now actual physical races. We're planning on at least 8 of them this next season. That's not including the ones we've already established, the virtual races, the Packfiller Classic, and things like that. And if COVID is an issue, we're going to be altering the formats of those events to maintain that the events will still happen and still go forward. So, for example, we're kicking around with some gravel routes and things like that, kind of a gravel circuit race. We might turn that into a time trial format where you sign up for your time, you come, you race, you get your time, it is immediately posted to the web, you get to know your competitive levels, and you get to go home with a bag of swag every time. So those are going to be happening this summer, and every member package is at least double the value of the cost. So let's say I pay $1 a month, that's $12 a year. It's going to be at least a $30 to $50 value for you guys. So I'm going to be unveiling each tier over the next series of shows to invite even the stingiest of you. Be sure to check our website for details as I announce them. Be a part of the pack. Be a part of the Packfiller. How is that? Was that legitimate? Did people get excited about that? I don't know. Did I sound like I was enthusiastic about it?
Yeah.
I am fucking enthusiastic about it. Yeah.
Yes, you are.
So the partnerships are starting to roll in. I think it's going to be really good. I got some friends and some existings and some news who are going to be really excited about that. So, yeah. Did I just drop my news story? I did. I dropped my news copy. Amateur. Shit. I've been doing this for how long? Long time.
Yep, as long as I am.
Well, as long as Jackson is. Great. Yeah, that's depressing as shit. So, we're getting to the news, you guys. First and foremost, I don't know if you guys heard this one. Actually, you did hear this one because we talked about it before we went live on the air today. But for those of you at home or listening in your car or in your cubicle at work, don't let the DSM hit you on the way out. That's the title I came up with. Team DSM have announced that Mark Hirschi has left the team. Swiss rider's contract was due to expire at the end of 2021, but the squad announced on Tuesday, that's today, they had terminated his contract with immediate effect. According to a quote from the team DSM has reached a settlement agreement with the rider Mark Hirschi to terminate their present employment before the original date of December 31st, 2021. He had a whole other year on his contract. Wow. It has been agreed that the agreement will be terminated with immediate effect, that no further comments will be made. He's big, high-profile rider, the 5th high-profile rider to negotiate an early departure from this team, including Marcel Kittel, Warren Barguil, Tom Dumoulin, and Michael Matthews all left the German registered outfit before the end of their contracts. Hirschi has yet to announce a new team. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. So my first question is, what do you guys think is up at this team? Formerly Sunweb, formerly Giant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, formerly Shimano. Argos Shimano, yeah.
Argos Shimano.
So what do you guys think's up? What's the deal?
It's a German-based team, so they have probably tons of rules. This is my way. This is the only way you need to go. This is what you need to do. Obey.
Yeah.
Schadenfreude. I don't know. Did I even say it close to the right?
Schadenfreude.
Yeah. That's just.
It's the joy of.
That's like karma and enjoying.
Well, it's enjoying your enemies, like failures.
Oh, okay.
That's just a sensation you feel. Like,
as the Simpson would have said. That's basically it.
Yeah.
Right? So you equate it to being the fact that they're a German team?
No, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Up.
Yeah.
Well, Kittel was the first one to leave in that list.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he left. Who knows what the reason? If they're all the same reason, we have a problem.
Yeah.
Barguil was a guy who was kind of a maverick, so he wasn't really fitting in the team all that well. Anyway, you can see that. With Dumoulin, I don't know. I thought he didn't like the bike. Because he complained about it because he was on Giant and they switched to Cervelo, but there was other things going on because he hurt his knee and he thought the personnel, but it can't be the bike because that's what he's going to be riding next year anyway.
Yeah.
And so, so I don't know. I don't. It's kind of a strange thing.
It is very interesting because last year it seemed like they were a very somewhat dominant team in specific. I think the tour they had a really good tour
and a good Giro.
Yeah. So
great aggressive tactics and riding.
Yeah. So it seems interesting because it seemed like they were kind of an all for one team.
Yeah.
But now with the track record you mentioned, it very much does kind of show that they've got. They're losing some pretty high profile riders is what it kind of seems like, which is never a good track record to have for a team. It
seemed weird almost to think of it, like, okay, before I thought about the fact that all these past riders have been leaving the team. Is he high maintenance? Is he Rowan Dennis? Is he angry about the tiny little things here? Will they not let him have his girlfriend, on tour with him or something like that? And then you start to look into it and go, oh, God, I don't know what's up going on in the background. Where do you guys think he's headed?
Well, and I think that's part of the point.
Yeah.
To me, it's like I might have an idea of what his intentions are, why he wanted to leave based on what team he goes to.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to.
Yeah.
If he goes to, which has been talked about, Ineos, then it's money. He wanted money. If he wanted... And where I think he's going, and you have the answer.
I do have the answer, yeah.
But I don't.
I'm trying to keep a
I think
poker
it's AG2R because their agenda is they do not have a stage winner. They're doing, for Grand Tours.
Yeah.
Which he's not going to be one of those. He'll be a classic rider. He showed his true colors at Flèche Wallonne.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, I think that's what their AG2R Citroën is basing their racing over, and I think that fits his agenda. So I would think that's a stepping stone. Mm-hmm. But I don't know.
Okay, so we got an AG Desert.
AG Desert.
I think that they, AG2R, are very much making a new name for themselves, and I bet you...
They're dropping some cash.
Yeah.
It sounds like, at least it looks like they're dropping some cash.
And I bet you after a little while, Roman Bardet is going to look at that team and go, damn shit.
Son of a bitch, why did I leave? Man.
And he's going to.
Yeah. He went to DSM.
Did he? Oh, shit. That's weird. That's awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where my logic comes from.
Yeah.
They're going to be focusing a little bit more on a stage, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then that pushes him, but I want to hunt for stages. So
well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, because
had you picked? I kind of cut him off.
Oh yeah,
I had the guess.
Yeah, shit, you did cut him off.
I had the guess earlier of DeCoin at Quickstep, just because they seem like they don't ever need. They just take everyone.
They just keep getting more riders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whoever's like one of the best in the world. Oh, they'll take them. Yeah. Like, so I'll guess with that.
You're gonna go with DeCoin at Quickstep. Yeah. Okay. There were rumors about UAE. A lot of rumors about UAE. But, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as per their Twitter feed and per their official statement announcement, now don't quote me if I'm wrong. I'm just going off of what I read.
There we go.
Fuck, I'm gonna get this wrong, aren't I? He's going to be officially riding for Ineos Grenadiers.
There's money.
That is disappointing.
Doesn't that suck?
Yeah,
that does. Either AG2R.
No way, bitch.
Yeah,
doesn't that suck?
I thought either AG2R or Ineos would kind of be a bummer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I think it would have been cool if he went to like a Bora or or just a different team. I think it'd be kind of.
Bora would have been a great fit for him.
Yeah.
So if I'm wrong, and if anybody's on the Podbean app, I'm officially opening the phone lines, and you can call in and say that I'm wrong. But as of today, that's the last I heard. So that was according to the Twitter feed of Ineos themselves. And so shit, right?
But they do want to start. Brailsford mentioned, and I think it was on Cycling Tips or something, that they're going to approach the season differently and be a little more aggressive and try and hit these instead of being so monochromic, tour,
mm-hmm.
Grand Tours, that they're going to try and get. They don't have a classic. They have semi-classics, but they don't have a monument. They don't. So maybe that's their approach. So
I also think, bless you, that they
I was
are
supposed to hit mute and I didn't hit mute. Son of a bitch.
I think that they are very much planning for the future as well. With a person like Tom Pidcock coming in, who's fairly young as well, who's still under 23. I think they're very much starting to plan for that time.
So you're telling me this theory of constantly winning tours that actually bit them in the ass horrifically this year, they're not going to keep going with that. That's weird,
Well,
let's keep doing it. Oof. One more time. Oof. Just keep getting punched in the balls.
Well, I think they're trying to set up with Pidcock. And
I love that name.
Pidcock.
I know.
I just love saying that name. It sounds like you're saying a dirty word.
Yeah. And so with that, and we got Luke Rowe, who was their classic, and Stannard retired this year. So they're losing any of their classic guys. Now they're bringing in all these fresh faces for classics.
You know who I feel bad for now? Mikhail Kwiatkowski.
Yeah, I know.
Who is just like who's kind of like
he's
second.
laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah.
That's right.
I feel kind of bad for him because I feel like he's playing second fiddle on these classics almost, because he could be one of those riders.
Yeah. But he wasn't never necessarily given the rein because they always wanted to make sure he was ready for the other thing. Well, I mean, Milan-San Remo. He's had some good
He beat Sagan in a sprint.
And
he's been close in Liège. Those little more on the Ardennes.
This year would have been a perfect year for him, but
world champion. He was a world champion.
Yeah, but he had to win a tour stage.
Mm-hmm. What kind of? Holding hands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One of them could have won.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah. How much time do I got for my news here? I just got to make sure I get through two of them. A few of them here. Second story, and then there were three again. Mathieu van der Poel took his 8th win of the 2021 cyclocross season in Hulst, winning the penultimate round of the UCI World Cup at Cantor. At a Cantor. At a Cantor? What the fuck? What did I write? Dutchman went back-to-back this weekend after his Gilligan win, beating World Cup leader Wout van Aert into second place by 1:31. Tom Pidcock. Where's my laugh? I can't. Tom Pidcock. See, I even lost my place because I laugh at his name. Round out the podium for a further 18 seconds back. And so I guess my question about all this is, and I'd love to hear from our listener too, in terms of like this, is cyclocross getting boring? Men's cyclocross, women's is competitive as shit.
Drink.
I know.
Yeah.
Women's is out of control. How to the wire it's becoming, but guys is just like
One of the three. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it getting boring?
No, I think it's interesting. Before all those road racers got involved, it was nice. Isabet was doing pretty well, and all of them were just. It was kind of fun to watch. It is now kind of a little bit boring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
I do feel bad for Elizabeth because he had when Vanderpool and Van Aert and Pidcock weren't in the races.
Yeah.
He had it all to his own.
Yeah.
He was just ripping into the European champions, and then they come back and he's getting the hell beat out of him right now.
Wow.
He had a bad crash last weekend.
Yeah, he did. So that contributes to it. But I feel for the guy a little bit because he had it all his own way, and then they came back and it just all screwed up.
Yeah, and do you take it? Are we reading too much into this? In terms of, is this a pretty amazing moment in the sport of cyclocross? These riders, is this like a lightning in a bottle moment of these guys? And are we going to look back on this in 10 years and go, shit, remember how amazing those guys were?
I think so. I think a lot of people, if you look at even in Merckx's area, his time period, I mean, go to Fruit, De Vlaeminck, Freddie Mertens, all those guys, they were phenomenal riders, but they were all clumped together at the same time. And then they started getting old, and then Mosher came along.
Yeah. So
But,
I'm wondering if this is just going to be
it's just one of those weird rotations where we just get some great young riders.
I mean, what is Vanderpool going to become for cyclocross? If he continues on the way he is, what
will he continue in cyclocross? Will he follow the money?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think I've mentioned previously on one of these shows. Both of those, Van Aert and Vanderpool, and soon to become Pidcock, will switch to the road. But I think if they continue, what will Vanderpool become in terms of cyclocross status? Will he become the best ever because he can't stop winning?
Yeah.
So,
Eric De Vlaeminck would fit that bill in that time period.
Roland Liboton, Liboton. I keep remembering that name. That guy was a stud back in the day too. But you never saw a lot of crossover.
Yeah.
Audrey Vanderpool did both.
Roger De Vlaeminck did quite a bit. Even Stebar. He did a lot.
Stebar, yeah.
And so, but there, and Lars Boom was another one that came from. But I think when you get older, you need that rest. You start having a family and stuff.
Yeah.
You can't be gone, 365.
Getting that look from the significant other.
Yeah.
Male or female, I'm not picking on
then you have to, like you said, follow the money. It's okay. And the obligation that maybe Vanderpool has with Phoenix Alpecin, they want him to do these races because they're, so whenever that comes to an end, maybe he'll make the decision.
Last one isn't really a news story per se, but it's new kit season, and I love when the first of the year comes by and you look at social media and everybody's got new kit day. Annemiek van Vleuten in Movistar, Marianne Vos in Jumbo-Visma, Chris Froome in Israel Startup Nation, Cav and DeKoinik, the new Bike Exchange kit, the AG Desert kit, and their new BMCs, which you and I were drooling over yesterday, Jackson. Any big notices or anything you're like, whoa, that looks kind of cool or kind of different, or that looks like absolute shit?
I think...
anybody noticed,
Yeah, I think Israel Startup Nation was a major improvement.
Yeah.
It's not a stunning kit, but
last
year's kit was kind of boring and it's paled, washed out.
We talked about AG Desert's kit, but the BMCs are really pretty.
I was surprised that they didn't stick with Eddie Merckx, but I'm happy that
That's curious because I think the contract still was going.
Yeah.
And BMC was already committed to now Assos. So think about who that was announced when Van Avermaet.
Yeah,
that's right. So he rode many years on.
I wonder if they want their bikes.
They sweeten the deal.
Yeah.
We can get a bike you want, whatever bike you want to.
Wow.
I think my favorite kit announcement of the entire 2021 year is Alpes and Fenix. How they said, everybody said that they loved our kit so much last year that we're going to keep the exact same kit this year, which is really just saying, we don't know what the hell to do, guys. Let's just keep the kit.
Let's not spend our money on this.
Yeah. We got boxes of this shit in the back of your room.
Yeah.
You think we're going to switch everything out? Yeah.
I do, however, really like, I'm a big fan of DeQueen Quick Steps all blue.
Even with the wolf hairs?
I see when it's far.
The wolf hairs are kind of fucked up myself.
For me, when it's
far a wolf pack, you don't need to show it's a wolf pack.
Yeah, but for me, when it's far away, you can't really tell that, and it doesn't really. We've already talked about this, but it doesn't really look to me like wolf hair. It more looks like
your knuckles. It doesn't look like your knuckles.
It doesn't look like my knuckles.
It looks more like blowing grass in a way, is what I think it looks like.
Yeah, a little longer. Yeah. I don't mind. It's just kind of a artistic take on.
Yeah.
That
I was blowing my knuckle hair into the camera so people saw it.
One thing I did notice, lots of white.
Yeah.
Lots of white.
Yeah,
and the Koenig who had white is now dark blue.
Yeah, and DSM.
And DSM stuff.
There were years like that where you remember there was the huge red wave that a lot of teams went with for a while, the Radio Shack days and things like that. And then and there was the blue wave earlier, the old blue wave, which was around the time of USPS and stuff like that. And I mean, there was big yellow kits for a while. God, and everybody just seems to follow each other.
Mm-hmm.
It was black a couple of years ago. I remember everything was getting dark and depressing as shit. So now it's white. White. Of all things, white. One of the worst colors in the world to show off a sponsor. This is where I give EF Education First credit.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they know how to show off brand.
I'm pretty excited for their 2021 kit.
Have we seen it yet?
No, that's why I'm pretty excited for it.
We haven't seen it yet. Wow, okay. Well, gentlemen, let's get to the topic, shall we? But before we get to the topic, it is time to do a little sponsor reading. You're going to notice something a little bit of difference here. I guess you can all expect that I'm a big fan of the one and only Giant Bicycles, you guys. Well, you should be too. Especially as they're expanding their website to include some great articles, posts, videos, and even discussions on how to ride for your health. So go and check out giantbicycles.com and take a look over the training tips, gear information, and so much more. Giantbicycles.com. Thanks for them for coming on board. Tell them that the Packfiller sent you. Honestly do. In fact, when you go into your LBS and you buy a Giant, tell them Packfiller sent you. And just you never know, that shit could get through to the higher ups, and the next thing you know, owning the entire world domination. That's all I'm asking for. Is
it might be like that. If you do that, it might be that episode in Seinfeld where remember George Costanza goes in and he says and Kramer says, just mention my name, you'll get a discount.
Yeah, Kramer.
He's like Kramer, and the guy's like, yeah, whatever. So it might be one of those.
No. Just do that, and then let's just start getting the word out.
Packfiller. Yeah, I like this Giant Packfiller.
They're just people.
I'm going to purchase this Giant Packfiller.
Yeah, Packfiller. Yeah, exactly. So there we go. Here's our fun topic for the night. God, that door is noisy. That door is noisy. Let's play the year in review, shall we? 2020 took a shit ton from us. We can all agree. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about that. 2020 also gave us, although a few, reasons to smile. We can all hopefully agree on that. So we're going to talk about both of those. So we're going to talk about necessarily, I don't know if we can call them the awards of the year. I remember VeloNews used to do this back in the day, and I'm sure they still do it, but I don't read VeloNews anymore. No offense to VeloNews. I just, I thought they went the way of Winning magazine. Packfiller's 2020 winners and losers of the year is our category tonight. And once again, if you want to participate with us on Facebook, we've got the chat up. Do you have the Facebook chat up? Not Facebook.
Podbean.
Podbean. You have Podbean. Do you have YouTube?
I have both up. Yes.
Oh, cool. I can quit looking at YouTube. So if you want to chime in and agree or disagree with us, fine. There's a delay, so you're going to lose. So we're going to say fuck off anyway. This year brought. Okay, yeah. Here we go. So personally, I want to start off. Just keep it, make it all about us. You know, it brought us some highs and lows. So let's start positive. I'm an optimistic person. I almost said that all the way through without laughing. Because I used to be an optimistic person, and then all of a sudden you guys brought out the fact that I'm just like, everything sucks. It's all going to end.
Eeyore.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Fine. Thanks for noticing me. Tell me about your personal highlight for 2020. The best day or moment or experience you guys had on the bike this year. Does anybody want to go first and jump into this? And man, I got to move that camera because that really is a bad side of me. I'm looking at the camera. It's like, I want everybody to know I don't look too bad. This side's better. But this side is bad. When I look at the monitors, it's like, fuck. Huh. Yeah, no wonder nobody pays attention to me.
Okay, Eeyore.
Yeah. Fuck, there I go. Yeah, I'm ugly. Oh, my highlight was that somebody said hi. Yeah. Does anybody have a personal highlight of 2020? And you can't do the knighthood because it was 2021.
Exactly, yeah.
You want to first, Shane?
Sure, yeah. I thought one of them I have is this summer entirely. I thought this summer was kind of the first summer that I fully kind of became my own cyclist and improved personally. So I was kind of happy with the summer entirely. Like one of them I have is when for the classic when I did my road stage, and it was that really hot 54-mile gravel ride I did. That was one of the hardest rides I've ever done. We talk about the Midnight Century, that overnight gravel ride that we do.
Yeah.
And it's pretty hard. This was harder, I thought, just conditions-wise. It makes it so much more difficult. That was one of my highlights, just being able to say, I did that. But yeah, I think this was the summer that I kind of became my own and improved quite a bit. Yeah.
That's way too broad, but I'll let you have it anyway.
It's so hard to get specific without racing going on.
Yeah, no doubt.
My best thing of 2020 was
world peace.
A third of the year.
It's world peace. Yeah, with this year, I guess.
This year.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give that to you. And that video's on YouTube too.
Yeah,
you documented that one before the camera died. Hey, Paul, what was your? I said the camera died.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul, what was your highlight of 2020?
Well, you brought up the only racing that we did, because that's what I like is amateur racing.
You got kicked in the sack a lot this year.
Yeah. That's just the way it is. But if I had to put a highlight, there was an albatross around my neck called a she shed, and I finished it. So then I've guilt-free riding now. And I got this wonderful sweater out of the whole deal.
Did that come out of a she shed?
Yeah. Wow. She created this from the time I finished it.
Damn.
This is like expensive wool, and it's nice and warm and cozy.
Wow.
It is my favorite sweater so far that she's done. But anyway, that's my highlight. Since there wasn't any racing.
I got you on camera too. Everybody can check out your stylish threads. That looks good, man.
So she did a heck of a job.
But that's not your cycling highlight, right?
Yeah. What is there?
Yeah,
I did the least amount of riding.
A great ride, racing. A great day, a great moment.
And then the Packfiller challenge, and I lost your baby. And there goes your camera. I mean, it's still to this day, I wake up in the middle of the night and pull a sweat going, no, fuck! And I see my hand reaching out. It's just like...
you're reaching out for it, yeah. Oh, shit.
So, that was...
The she shed is your...
Yeah, I got it done. I got a sweater. Since I didn't race,
Oh, my God. Okay.
And that was almost third of the year also.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's true.
Mine, I was going to say the Packfiller Classic and my foray into trying out what it's like to kind of help put a race together, as small as that event was, and stuff like that. But it's actually, mine was the Steptoe Butte ride with my friends. Was that on my birthday? I think it was on my birthday, wasn't it?
You and I did Mount Spokane on
We did Mount Spokane on my birthday. So I take it back. No, the Steptoe ride was honestly a great ride, and that was, there's just 4 of us. We couldn't go any bigger than our immediate group. The 3 of us and CP went, and I enjoyed that ride. It was no way near my forte, but I had a great day. On the bike that day. Personal. Again, we're sticking with you. What was your low moment of the year? I will start off, and I'm going to steal it. I think I'm going to steal the big one. My low was seeing Roger Thompson crash.
Oh,
yeah. That fuck shit up. Yeah, exactly. We all drank. That's why we paused there. That was a low. That was not a pretty thing. I did not enjoy that, and I would love to never, ever, 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 ever see that again. Although it's part of the sport. Jackson, what was your low? Feeling mighty low.
Here I have the cancellation of everything. I think that just that made it very hard for a lot of motivational things. I think that was very much a difficulty for this summer.
Yeah.
Paul? Well, I agree on both of yours, but mine on a personal level was the fucking she shed again. It's a high and low.
I gotta hit these both at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, God. That thing was... But it's done. She's happy. She made me a sweater.
Yeah.
But it was not... There was a time where I was...
You were losing it.
Yeah.
You were losing your shit. I love that you, of all people, are picking non-bike experiences for your
mine's all based off of something that didn't happen anyway. So.
Okay, let's talk about from the racing scene. I'm talking road. I'm talking, what gravel or mountain there wasn't a lot of those out there. From professionals, amateurs, World Cup, World Tour, things like that. World Cup, listen to me. What events were the most memorable for you? You got to pick one of the events that was like, bam, that was awesome. That was the best thing I've ever been a part of or seen happen in the year of 2020.
I personally picked Pagach's surprise win that day. That time trial was probably one of the most exciting races I've ever watched.
Wow. Okay. There were a lot of big moments in bike racing this year. Yeah. That's it. That was a pretty powerful one for the most exciting moment of the year.
That was on my list, but I lean a little bit. I mean, without a doubt, I battled that decision between 1 and 2. That ended up being 2. Of course, number 1, because I'm a classic guy, was the dream finish on Flanders between those two.
Well, I guess
Wout and
but
it would have been a lot more interested if Crash didn't go down. Alaphilippe. What time is it? Oh, God!
Oh,
yeah.
I am falling.
I look at my watch.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that was German.
My ass is hurting. Oh.
He was a good sport about it.
Such easy.
He was.
Such easy bike racing. You know what the funny thing is? And that one officially wins. That one officially wins because I too said
Flanders.
Mm-hmm. I too said Flanders.
I will say for my close second, I will say Alaphilippe's Worlds win was pretty exciting.
That was pretty good. Yeah. I was going to say that one of my most still moments was that camera shot during Worlds that they shot the riders going across. The women's race I thought was even better though.
And
that was such a cool thing. The low moment of the watching participation bicycle fanatic season.
Yeah, I had Roglic losing the time trial, and then that moment where his helmet's about 15 inches off of his forehead. That's probably a low.
You know that helmet was never been worn, never been tested or anything. They threw it on right before.
That was a dumb idea.
It didn't work. That was not the best of ideas.
No.
Paul, you got one?
Yeah, and in many ways, the Tour of Poland stage where Groenewegen took out Jakobsen. And it was a tragedy when it happened. And what happened to Jakobsen, and then also Groenewegen, the stuff that was heaped on him, and that was not his intentions, and also the tragedy of those barriers that were put in there. I watched it like in fact, 2 days ago, I was just like, I don't understand. Not even in the downtown Spokane crit that would have happened.
No.
I don't think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was just bizarre.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was a low.
Well, I was going to agree with Jackson on the time trial, but Paul just
I did have a
brought it all
backup, though.
down. What were you going to say?
Clyde Dygard's crash.
Chloe's crash.
That
yeah.
was another
Yeah.
one. That was a low
Yeah.
one. Because she
Never knew
was ripping it.
barriers could be like a meat slicer.
Yeah. And to have the organizers put the little catch before
Yeah.
the apex.
Before the apex, yeah. It's like you're safe, you're safe, you're not now. Yeah. Oh, that was terrible. Highlight of gear and innovations. Anything that kind of came across that you thought was impressive, thought was cool, thought was all right. This is going to be a great one. Anybody got one? I'll go first. I never get to go first. I'm going to say the bicycle sales due to COVID. I'm going to say the fact that there were so many bikes sold because of this, and I think it's going to have a trickle effect on the sport as a whole. I hope it does, and I hope that people don't just say fuck it and go back to their TVs. That was mine. Highlight, Paul.
There wasn't anything that really tickled my fancy other than our new kit.
We did. We caused COVID because we got a new kit and we were all ready to go out there and be bike racers, and then it's like, oh no, not for you.
Nope.
Jackson.
Listed here, I do have some of like my personal things that I really love, like my helmet. I love my POC helmet, and like and the new and my new shoes that I bought myself, my Giant Surge Pros. But I also think something that needs to be spoken about is EF.
Nice job on that. But
oh yeah,
nice job on that.
No big deal. But I think EF and their kit was a big gear moment. I think as a team, you and I, Dad, were talking about this the other day, that it was probably the best find they've ever been given, because they made probably quadruple that, 10 times that, off of selling it in 3 minutes. It sold out that quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's pretty cool for this year.
Do we need to have a low light in the tech world or the gear and the innovations? Do you have one, Paul?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
This obvious takeover of disc brakes and road riding.
Oh,
it's killing amateur cycling. It's killing it. As I know it, amateur cycling.
You want to know something similar? Because I'm going to go total old man with you on that one, because mine is the fact that I'm going to have to be responsible for another fucking rechargeable battery, because we're going to go to all the digital button Xbox shifting, and the bikes are going to change. And now,
shifting.
God damn you guys in your Game Boy shifting. My days, you had to reach down to the down tube and hope you got the simplex shifting, because if not, you had that Camp and YOLO stuff that went crack. Remember that index shifting? God, that was terrible. And then if you had a good aluminum bike, synchros, you could just hear it. It was everywhere. Sorry, Jackson.
See, I would say those are both highs.
Yeah, you would. Goddamn kids.
I think Cervelo and Villiers, both having their bikes snap in the tour, that might be a tough time for them. Those are my lows.
Yeah.
When you see Miguel Angel Lopez flying into a fence and then his bike goes right in half.
But do you think that was the bike's fault?
Oh God, no! But I don't think it. Yeah. I don't think anybody on TV was like, "Man, now I want to buy myself a Cervelo after."
That's a good point.
Tiege Benoot snap
when it's your money on the line because you have to replace it.
Yeah,
you'd rather see that bike pulled out of the ditch and it's all in one piece and they hop on it, as opposed to quickly hide it.
As opposed to like steel, where they just, hey, come here, we're going to cold set that motherfucker, and they're just they're taking it back over the pole and they're just bending it the other way.
You can make it reefing on it.
You're good. I saw a coach do that once with a set of forks. He drove a bus into a garage, and he knocked about half the bikes off the top. Yeah, exactly. And then at night, he was up pulling everything back. we all raced the next day on our steel bikes.
I got so much toe overlap now. What's going on?
This is so weird. So the rider of the year, gentlemen, if you had to pick one rider of the year, male, female, road, mountain, cyclocross, gravel, I know I threw this at you. Who would you pick for the rider of the year 2020? Who saved us?
Man, that's a big question because I have 4 different riders here.
Pick one. Pick one.
I had 4 also.
Oh, well, I think probably... Oh, man, this is a really tough decision.
Pick one.
I think I'm going to go with Primož Roglič had probably one of the best years
That was
of
pretty,
cycling.
Wow.
That was my second. Yeah.
With him losing the Tour, he also got... Did he get Liège? Was that the classic he got?
Yep.
Yeah, he got that, and then he also got the Vuelta, and he ended up with the most UCI points. So that was a pretty good year for him. I will say for the future, watch Tom Pidcock.
Oh.
I think he's young, and he's going to Ineos. That's not a bad place to end up.
I think it's a horrible place to end up.
me too.
Yeah. It's a bad place.
Yeah.
They're taking all the people.
I also think Annemiek van Vleuten had a stunning
Great year.
Yeah.
Great year.
Van der Breggen also.
Yeah.
Both worlds, TT and road, and finished up the year in the bang. But
Paul Main, who's the rider of the year?
that was tough. I had on my 4 real quickly. I had Pogacar, Hershey, but struck him out the list quickly.
'Cause he's on Ineos now.
Yep.
Yeah.
He went for the money. Roglic, and then I had Wout because Wout started the re-comeback. He won Strada Bianca, and then he was to the very last race. He was still duking it out. 2 stage wins, second in the worlds in both time trial and TT. So
Paul Main and Jackson. Mark Van Aert is the official Packfiller rider of the year because I picked him too. So sorry, Jay. You got outvoted.
I see on YouTube somebody says Sepp Kuss, which is a very...
Sepp Kuss is a good choice.
I think he had it in...
his years to come, though.
Yeah, I think he will. Once the Dumoulin's and the Rogliches go away, I think he is like a Pidcock, one of the futures. I think he could be one of the next American Tour winner.
Whoa!
I'm going to say.
Not on the team.
I think
he's on.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I said after the
Yeah.
Rogliches and the Dumoulin's leave,
Oh,
he's the
okay.
next.
Dumoulin's never going to win a Tour.
No, I think
Again.
he's, in my opinion, he's on his way out.
Yeah,
I
he's going
think
to
he's
that-
lost a little.
He's going to retire to that big shitter
Yeah.
I like
somewhere
him.
else. He's a great guy. I said shitter because of the poop joke.
Oh, yeah.
A long time ago.
It's always good.
Surprise of the year? Anybody got a surprise? Like what moment of the year from in terms of a rider and their performance?
I think Mark Hirschi.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to go with Pogacar
Oh, yeah.
because I didn't see him. You saw him, Jackson. You saw him
I did.
early in the fact that he was going to do something, and I did not catch on.
He
to
wasn't too much of a surprise. He was the only one that challenged, and it was a close challenge for the Slovenian national championships, both in the
Yeah.
TT, and he won the TT against Roglic, and it was a battle towards the very end in the road race.
that. Yeah.
So and plus he showed a little bit of shine the year before, but I didn't expect what he did.
Yeah.
There's no way. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about the crash of the year? I think we already mentioned one of the 2 crashes of the year. Well, we mentioned both the crashes in my opinion of the year. Julian Alaphilippe, and definitely I think Chloe wins the crash of the year. Would we all agree?
Jakobsen.
Yeah.
Jakobsen.
I think
Shit,
those
I keep
two
forgetting about the Jakobsen one.
I think
That
those
one
3
did the
take
most
the top
devastating.
3.
Oh God, yeah. I don't know why I make talk about crashes. I shouldn't because they're a bad part of the sport, but Alaphilippe.
It's part of the sport.
Alaphilippe was kind of funny.
Yeah, it was.
It was a little funny. And the oops of the year would be Alaphilippe.
Yeah, that would be.
I win.
Oh, yeah.
Son of a bitch. My French is not on very good right now. How about and we can be technical and we can be careful with this. The douchebag of the year. Who do you think had the biggest fuck up in terms of being a douche, a jerk, an idiot? Do we want to throw anybody under that bus?
Right now, I'm thinking Hershey. Bastard.
That's timely.
Yeah.
I think Quinn Simmons.
Do you?
He could take it.
You know what? I was thinking about that, and in all honesty, I was thinking about him. I was thinking what Chloe did on social media and things like that, and I was going, okay, regardless of their personal opinions and statuses and things like that, what their beliefs are, I think throwing this much power into the hands of somebody without this type of experience is idiocy. And I think all these people, when they come into the pro ranks, should have a manager who teaches them the yeses and the nos of social media, because it's something that, and again, I'm not saying that Quinn did something cool or he should be forgiven, nor am I saying that Chloe did something cool or should be forgiven, but I'm thinking there might be somebody along the way who should be going, we're going to have a little social media training class, and you represent a shit ton of money, and you can't post anything on social media, in theory, that is your opinion. You have to start just kind of saying, I'm going to have a private account that I'll chat back and forth with my friends, but on your major social media, you kind of need to shut the fuck up. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I think we're in new territory here.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think we're just, breaking teeth on this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear from pro cyclists who just absolutely hate they won't even look at Twitter anymore because there's so much trolling, everything, to the point where, people are coming in and think, I just make a comment.
Yeah.
And it could be spun, whatever. So I think you're right. I think there's going to be a point where, they're throwing millions of dollars into these teams. They're going to say, dude, we got to stay Switzerland on everything.
Yeah.
Because any side will spin it.
Yeah.
And then we're the bad guys.
It's so easy to be watching something and you get pissed off and type something in and hit send. But unfortunately, the majority of your followers are there because of what you do. And there's a lot of money there.
And I think that, yes, it shouldn't be put into hands of such a young person. I also think that the subject matter for which it was brought up in, I think that's what kind of breaks the camel's back a little bit.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah, that's why it shouldn't happen in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so last category I wanted to give out to the year is this was a year where we had to rely upon online sources. We had to find our motivation and our entertainment in very odd places, and I think there were some people who took up the online helm after we're talking about bad tweets and stuff like that. I think there were some people who did some really cool things through social media, through things like that. Heaven forbid podcasts. Don't pick a podcast other than art. But who's the online personality of the year? I'm anxious to hear the difference between you two.
Yeah. I'm going to say that, and it'll be no surprise here, but I think either Ted King for his DIY series, kind of being one of the first to do it, and really encouraging people to get out there on their own devices and just do whatever they can do, I think was a really influential thing. And then they came back, both Laura and Ted came back with that 12 Days of Christmas thing that they did for a little bit there.
They did a whole van ride they were doing across the country this year, getting out with their daughter and showing that it can be done and things like that. So,
and I also think Lachlan Morton as well did do a lot of things that were very productive throughout this time.
Yeah, I would say more EF kind of directed that whole thing. I was thinking Lachlan. I mean, he's game for anything outside the ordinary. He's a unique personality, and he really kind of filled that bill. As much as I have no interest at Everstream, and like he did that one across Great Britain. He did a ride.
Oh, the GB Duro.
That. It's so kudos. It gave us something to talk about, look, and watch. Yeah. And EF, I think, was smart about that. They're marketing very well.
Yeah,
even when they designed goofy looking jerseys.
Yeah, they got their finger on the pulse of something, man. They do have their finger on the pulse of something. And I was stuck between Ted and Lachlan, so I guess we're just gonna give it a flat out tie because those guys did, I think, some cool things, and I all but Lachlan have been on this show, by the way. I got to get Ted on here. I mean, not Ted, Lachlan on here. I've been talking about him a little bit. So, before we finish off the show, we're going to have some fun with a new segment that we pitched last week in terms of fighting our way through the winter, keeping our passions alive, hot and steamy as much as we want to go. That's a big rock, and you're a damn cannibal, things like that. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm going to get flagged on YouTube for doing this, but I don't give a shit. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Watch This with Paul Main. Paul always seems to have something up his sleeve when it comes to cycling content. Doesn't he? He does. His recommendations might be a bit outdated at times, but hey, who isn't? They always pay off, however. Paul Main, what's your film recommendation for this week?
Well,
I had to cut it off because it was loud. It was really loud.
It was a brick wall ending.
It was, yeah.
A little punkish.
So I just thought we'd get, you're always sending these video ideas to us and things like that, and you're always saying, have you seen this yet? Have you seen this one yet? Have you seen that one yet? I'm going, shit, no, where do you find all this stuff? And he's not you're not a YouTube junkie like Jackson is.
Well, you get in those rabbit holes like you explained, and so you have your interests. I mean, other than, you're sitting there and you think, well, how in the heck did Paris-Roubaix, how did I get down this GTI Mark 1 rebuild? But here I am, so then you scramble back, it's like, whoa.
So our new segment is going to be, it's time for Watch This with Paul Main. So, Paul, what's your recommendation for all of us this week?
These are shorts because I'm leading into things.
Okay.
My big passion, what got me into cycling, was the first time in 1984 when I saw Paris-Roubaix on CBS. That's in the U.S. That's the only one. Yeah. It was a half-hour segment.
John Tesh soundtrack.
Yeah. So, of course.
Damn, that was yummy.
Not too many people say that about his music. But anyway, so I've got a list of them, and they're like, there's a couple of 2-minute videos, and it's all about Paris-Roubaix, because next week I'm going to slug a 14-minute video. That to me is the pinnacle of bike racing, but you got to know a little bit of the history.
Okay.
And so there's the Hell of the North intro, and that's one of them. I was going to send you like all the addresses, and I could do that right now.
But no, if they were to YouTube search this, the Hell of the North...
Hell of the North intro.
Okay.
And I think that's 2015.
Okay. I'm looking at that. Okay, yeah. You just type in Hell of the North intro, and it's bam. It's
and that should be the first one.
2 minutes, 32 seconds. Yeah.
And then the next one is actually, I think it's Italian or Spanish. And I think it's Spanish. It's Paris-Roubaix, El Interior del Norte.
Okay.
So it's the Hell of the North. Yeah.
And
so El
in different language.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so these are like to inspire you. There's no stories. They're just kind of inspirational, motivation, little education. This is how I felt. I kind of packaged this little deal.
P-I-S-R-U-B-A-I-X. Now what do you...
E-L.
E-L.
I-N-F-I-E-R-N-O.
E-L-N-F-I...
That's a separate word.
Infierno.
Yeah.
Infierno del Norte.
Yeah.
So it's Hell of the North, but in a different language, right? Yeah. Hell of the North again. Okay, so there are two of them. Oh, okay. I got you. Oh, no shit.
And then there's the ones left behind. That's a Paris-Roubaix. Ones left behind is 2000.
God, I'm glad you weren't sticking with Left Behind, because that's a whole nother connotation. That's a religious goofball movie. So
he's a really nice guy. He never left his friends behind.
Yeah. So what is this? The Ones Left Behind, Paris-Roubaix?
Paris-Roubaix, Ones Left Behind.
Okay.
That was 2013. It's special to me because that was the first time I saw Paris-Roubaix. It was 2013.
Okay.
Wow. And
there it is. And that's 4 minutes and 19 seconds. Yep. All available on YouTube.
And then the very last.
Oh, jeez.
The very last one, and it's only 1:59. So, and it is Canyon Bikes. It's called the Trinities, and it's part 2 of the Trinities.
Canyon Bikes Trinities?
Just Canyon Trinities.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah, okay. Part 2.
Part 1's very good, but I've got this theme of Paris-Roubaix.
Okay. Recap. Paris-Roubaix.
I got Hell of the North.
The intro.
Yeah. Paris-Roubaix, whatever in Spanish.
Yeah.
Then Paris-Roubaix, One's Left Behind.
Okay, One's Left Behind. Okay.
And then Canyon Trinities Part 2.
Okay.
And about that one, because I like that artistic. This is going to lead us into next week.
So this is homework.
It is. I want people to watch, especially. You got to know the history.
You have a homework assignment.
This is the oldest. Well, it isn't the oldest one-day race. Actually, that's Liège, best on Liège. But this is the oldest race before Tour de France. This came out and Paris-Roubaix was in 1896. So anyway, the last one in Canyon Bikes Trinity.
Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with Werner Herzog, the director? German director?
Yeah.
It's done on that.
Really?
It's really good.
He didn't do it. He doesn't do it.
No, but it's done on that style.
Really?
Yeah, very much.
Really mellow.
That monotone talk. And
notice the bikes as they ride across the pavilion.
George was very excited about
He also did a movie called Grizzly Man, which is fucked up. It's about a guy who goes around the grizzlies and he dies. Not to spoiler alert, the grizzlies fucking eat the dude. It's messed up. So there we go. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's the homework assignment for next week.
Yeah.
So we will all watch
people will
those.
chime back and say, "These are stupid." Or,
hey, fuck yeah!
I did not know.
Yeah. I built pave in my backyard now. Thanks, Paul. My significant other hates me.
Yeah.
So there we go. You guys, you've got a recommendation. You've got something to check out in terms of what's happening with the show. Hey, you guys, congratulations once again to Sir Jackson, a.k.a. Nightwing, Wing. Yeah, exactly. Get out there and ride. I've started my training. I hope you guys have. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, and check out the Packfiller Patron Program, or I'm going to come up with some kind of quirky name for it there. But that is going to be unrolling today, and everything will be out there, and you guys can all of a sudden get excited and become a part of it and get some free shit and get some discounts and some products, and you can come out and race bikes with us. That's the big key. Just come out and ride your bike with us, and I'll time you and give you shit. It'll be fun, right?
There
we go. Isn't that what we're all here for?
Yeah.
All right. Stay safe. Anything else? I don't know. I don't have a sign off. I don't really have a sign off.
No, you don't.
Other than fuck it.
There we go.
Here, I got one.
Go away, bitch.